So hi, I'm Mark Beggs. I'm the president of Edenwald, and I want to welcome everyone to our very first virtual event. Who would have ever thought that we'd be experiencing a global pandemic and doing things the way we are today? Certainly not me, and as my staff know, I plan for everything. So the fact that this kind of caught me by surprise is a surprise. We're so glad you could join us today. Like many things, we've been quick to pivot and do things differently because it's what's required in the world right now. Over the last 4 months, we have changed the way we do everything in order to keep our residents safe, healthy, and engaged. It's been a challenge, but one filled with many rewards, as the residents tell us time and time again how happy they are to be living at Edenwald, and to thank the staff for all the attention they provide to make their days not only feel secure, but special. We certainly look forward to getting life back to normal as we start to open up our in-house amenities to include the salon, gym, pool, our green roof with putting green, walking trail, and the resident garden. This Friday, we're going to do a soft opening on Dining Under the Stars, which is a pop-up dining experience that we'll be doing out on our green roof under a large tent that we put up last week. I, of course, want to thank our resident panelists today. They are a wealth of information and hopefully will give you a great feel about Edenwald, the types of people who live here, and why they chose Edenwald. Now, I'd like to introduce Kitty Allen. Kitty, I still see your picture up there. She's the president of Edenwald Resident Association and also a member of our board of directors, starting her 2-year term in April of this year. Kitty has been a resident of Edenwald since April of 2015 and was the vice president of the association before taking over as president. Kitty, through her role, is an integral part of the communication between the residents and campus leadership and is the voice of the residents on the board of directors. Kitty?
So anyway, yes, I'm Kitty Allen, and I have moved here about 5 years ago, and you'll always still see a smile on my face, even behind the mask. We're delighted to have this opportunity to tell you more about us. Residents choose Edenwald as their home to be able to live lives of significance as they bring with them their interests, their skills, their energies, and a desire to meet new people and learn new things. The Residents Association offers a wide variety of committees, activities, services, something for almost anyone, or not, if you so choose. It's up to you. Thank you to the residents on this program who will be telling you more, but don't hesitate to ask any additional questions you might have afterwards. Thank you.
Great, Kitty. Thank you, Kitty. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Diane, and I have to pop off to get on another call. That's all I do all day long is other conference calls. So it was nice to see all of your faces, and I hope you enjoy this event today. Diane?
Thanks, Mark.
Mark.
As Mark said, this is our first virtual event, and both our team and our residents are very excited to share the experience with you. We hope you find it of value to learn about our community from the people who know Edenwald the best, our resident experts. I wanted to introduce you to the marketing team who's hosting the event today. We have Debbie Jenka, who is our marketing counselor. We have LaShawn Muhammad, who is our moving services specialist. LaShawn?
Hello.
Oh, there she is. Hi, LaShawn.
Hi.
And then we also have Caitlin Tevs, who is our marketing coordinator. And Caitlin is running our technology today. So she has a few hints to give you about Zoom. Caitlin?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I just wanted to mention a few housekeeping things before we get started. So as you can see on this call, there are multiple video feeds. So what I'm going to suggest is, if not already, go to the top right corner of your Zoom screen and change it to speaker view. So gallery view, you're going to see everybody, but if you change it to speaker view, you'll be able to see the person that's actually speaking when they're speaking. Okay. I also wanted to mention we will be taking questions, but how this is going to work is currently you're all muted just to avoid background noise. So if you do have a question, if you could go to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a button that says chat. You can go ahead and type your question in the chat box, and that will come directly to me, and I will share your question with our panelists. And we will try to get to as many questions as possible towards the end of our event. With that said, I'd like to turn you back over to Diane and Debbie, our panelist hosts today.
Thanks, Caitlin. We'd like to offer a very warm welcome and thank you to our resident panelists today. We have Fran and Charlie Wagner.
Hi.
Hi, Fran and Charlie. Thank you. We don't normally call our residents by their first names, but we thought it might be easier today when we're asking the questions. We also have Joe Lichtenstein. Joe?
Hi.
Hi, Joe. And then we have Ann Daw. Ann?
Hi there, everyone.
Hi, Ann. Thank you. My first question goes to Joe. So, Joe, over the course of a few years, I know you looked at Edenwald and several other life plan communities.
Correct.
Can you tell us what it was you liked about Edenwald and why you chose our community?
Yes. First of all, I really like the location. I don't want to be in the boondocks. I like to be in the middle of the action. And here I am, right in the middle of downtown, not quite downtown Towson, but where everything is happening. And I enjoy being able to, have access to all those things. I mean, if I need new underwear and socks, I walk across the street, to the Towson Mall, and there I am. And there's also places to eat there. And the other thing, and important, was that I found when I came here that everyone, including the staff and the residents, were super friendly and welcoming, which I did not, truthfully, find in all the other places. People here always came over to me, said hello, why don't you stay here and have dinner with me, and things of that nature. So that made me feel pretty good. And then the other thing that made me come here, and this was very influential, is that I one time developed a little bit of almost a flu. And I'm living in a nice condo by myself, and I'm sick. I had 103-degree temperature, but I love the place. And now I got to go and get something to eat. What do? Get dressed, 103 temperature, have to drive around and find something to eat. There's no one there to help or ask for anything. And so I realized that there's really two me's involved in this. One is an emotional me. The other is an intellectual me. The emotional me said, I love it here. I did. I had a great condo, a lot of amenities, nice people, everything was nice. But you see, that flu showed me that we had no relationship with each other. And my intellectual self said, I am now in my middle 80s, add a few more years onto that, and things are going to happen. Excuse me? Things are going to happen. And I know that at Edenwald,
And I have Joe down here in the corner, but I don't have the full.
at any rate, I know that if things happen to me, where I thought if things happened to me, there would be people to take care of me and look out for me. And I thought that was a very important thing. And so after bothering Diane for 3 years with a million questions,
It was my pleasure.
and I got a lot of very good answers, I made that decision to come in here. And after I did, all of my friends said to me then that hadn't done that, Joe, you did the right thing.
Mhm.
And I am going to have t-shirts made up that I'm going to wear that says, I did the right thing. So that's it, the answer to that.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And,
Fran,
go ahead, Debbie, sorry.
Fran and Charlie?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So could you tell us a little bit about the active life you've led? And in light of the COVID-19 precautions nationwide, how are you staying active now? And how has Edenwald kept residents engaged during these last few months?
Well, we've always traveled a lot.
We're travelholics.
Yeah. So we did a lot of traveling, mostly independent traveling. We actually we're tent campers, and believe it or not, we actually kept all our camping gear. It's in our son's basement right now. So because we think we might have a couple of trips left in us. But we've done travel, camping, hiking, biking, and
Camelback riding.
what's
Yes.
that? Yes.
Camelback riding.
Yes. We saw one of our pictures. So we were pretty active, before we moved here. We actually brought our bikes with us, of course the COVID has kind of crimped our style a little bit.
Yeah, it has. But what we're doing now is we're taking lots of hikes. We've found some fabulous trails in Loch Raven, and we're hiking all through different trails in Loch Raven. And I think there's enough trails to last us the whole pandemic. So we'll be lucky. We've seen deer and lots of good wildlife. And we're also exploring lots of the neighborhoods around Edenwald that we drive through 30, 40 miles an hour, and we don't see anything. We just drive through and everything goes by in a blur. But we're getting to see the neighborhoods up close and personal, and it's been really fun to walk through those. And we're exploring Towson like we've never seen it before. We're finding all sorts of monuments and plaques and gardens and parks that were tucked away or right there on the road that we drive by every day and never see. So we've been doing that.
Yeah, and also Ryan, who is the health and wellness person here, he has been providing us all with like YouTube videos of exercises that he's put together. He's got a really good program, and that lets us do some exercises within our apartment. When the weather is not conducive for us to taking walks around the area or through Loch Raven.
Have you taken any of the exercise classes up on the green roof?
We haven't done that yet, but we're
Okay.
mainly doing the YouTube. And we plan to sign up for some of the, go up on the roof, get some more fresh air.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, we saw
Fred
some.
and Charlie, you were only with us, what, a month before?
Well, no,
ours?
probably the better part of, we moved in the end of November.
Right.
The
And then February.
was like the second week of March. So
Right.
3 months.
So we were fortunate. We got to see kind of what things are like in the normal mode, if you will.
Right.
And
Right.
there's so much to do. Wonderful speakers, lots of things, within the campus itself. And of course, we have the exercise room, we have the pool. So there's lots you can do to keep yourself, going physically. If you don't use it, it rusts. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So Anne, are you good? Are we cured your technical
She's
difficulties?
actually muted for some reason and I can't get it to unmute. So if you don't mind, maybe just skip her question for the moment. And I have LaShawn heading down to help her.
Oh, it's probably just muted on her Zoom. Okay, we'll skip.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, back to you again.
Okay.
So as Mark mentioned earlier in his introduction, we are getting ready to do some new things. We're going to have some dining under the stars. We're having the fitness classes out on the roof, the green roof. We did put in a huge tent, so we have a lot of exciting things going on. So can you tell me, like, what are you most looking forward to as we start our reopening?
Lovely.
Well, as the amenities open, I'm looking forward to going back to the woodwork shop.
Oh,
Yay.
We have a wonderful shop here, which is also known as the Fix-It Shop, because unfortunately, if residents are here and they have a problem, let's say you have an old spindleback chair that's really good, but it's coming apart because it's old and the glue's dried out. You send it down to the Fix-It Shop, we'll take it apart, sand off everything, re-glue it, clamp it, and make it like new. Cost is only whatever the stuff costs plus a donation. We also do lamp rewiring, and I enjoy that. We also do things like, I don't know if you can see this,
It's a pen.
That's
That
good.
is a solid maple pen, ballpoint pen that I made in the wood shop. And I learned it. That's the other thing. We have 3 great people down there that help you do these things. They're very expert at this. I am not. And they
Good
they
job
help
on the
me.
pen.
Well, they help me and they've made some rather nice projects. So I'm looking forward to that and the gym.
Good. Thanks, Joe.
Sure.
All right, it looks like Anne, we're back. You're back.
All right.
Good. So Anne, you've told us that you are very grateful and feel very safe to live at Edenwald during this pandemic. Can you share with us what's made you feel that way?
Yes, certainly I can. The administration has been carefully, very, very carefully planning step by step, as the whole world has been planning step by step. And they also keep us very, very much updated on what's going on. That's important. But of course, we're all sitting in our apartments wondering what to do next after you've straightened up things and, you know, that kind of daily routine. So both the programming department and the wellness department have offered many, many programs through our internet channel, either through YouTube or the channel that belongs to Edenwald itself. We started out, for example, with 3 weeks of the 3 seasons of The Crown, the 3 seasons so far of The Crown. And in the more recent days, we've had a lot of shows from Rhodes Scholar. Been fascinating. Today was on Churchill. The last 2 days were on the Victoria Falls and the finding of the falls and the Stanley and Livingston business. Very, very interesting. We've also had movies in the evening, not every day, but most days, and also some programs that were just plain amusing, that you need a good laugh in the middle of this. That's for sure. One of the things that has made me feel very safe is, this is a strange thing for an active person, I have not really had choices that I had to make, in the sense that if I were in my own apartment outside, I would have to decide whether I really needed to go to the store, or would it be better to stay home? Would it be safer to stay home? That sort of thing. One of the things that has been so great here is that not only is our food brought to our apartment door, but we also have a pantry, as it were, where we can order things, food, and also household things, which has been very much of a saver for a lot of people. Fortunately, I have a daughter who's 2.5 miles away, so she has been my delivery service for many, many days. However, it's really been very much to my comfort to be here, not only when we are here anyhow, you know, without the pandemic, but also now with the pandemic. I have been very, very thankful to Mark and the whole administration for what they have done.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
Deb?
welcome.
Charlie,
Yes.
how do you define the value of living at Edenwald today?
I think the #1 value is peace of mind. The day we moved in, we just took a big breath and said, wow, we're here. We have peace of mind. We're not a burden for our family to be concerned about our safety and our care, and that we're well taken care of. And they live out of state. So I think the whole family has peace of mind, not just us. But that's invaluable. It's absolutely invaluable for knowing that we're well taken care of and in a safe, wonderful place.
And
And
Fran, how long did you wait for that perfect apartment to become available?
Oh, only 5 years.
well, the good thing too is that you know, we were on the waiting list for 5 years, but you know, it's not like a situation where suddenly you're ill or something like that and you have to, you know, get into a community kind of on an emergency basis. And we're like Joe, we went around and we looked at a lot of different places, and I would echo what Joe said, that just walking through the halls here, the residents and the staff, just really, you could get the vibe that everybody was really friendly, and we did not get that vibe every place we went.
The other thing is that when you have, being a homeowner, you never know when an unexpected expense is going to happen. And there's no particular surprises here. The only surprise would be our cars or our bodies. But our house, we don't have to worry about a leaking anything or a broken widget. So that's very comforting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anne, what advice would you give to someone who is considering a move but feels that they're too young or they want to wait?
I think the main thing is to a point how you feel inside. In my particular case, as Diane knows, I had started looking at Edenwald probably now 7 or 8 years ago. And Diane's been a very good salesperson and kept on the phone with me every once in a while. And then I gave some lectures here. So I felt very much at home when finally I happened to have had a TIA when I was coming up on 80. And I thought, now is the hour. So that was my particular signal. However, they're really, it really is up to you and what you're doing, whether you're totally retired, not retired, how much you want to do in the city or just here. The one thing that I think that you really need to consider is whether you are active and really want to take part in the many, many activities, as Kitty said a while ago, the many activities of programs and trips and exercise classes, or would you rather come and just be comfortable and have friends, but pretty much do nothing? Again, it is one of those decisions that really does come up to whether you feel comfortable or not, both health-wise and also just activity-wise. I used to still continue many outside activities. I've been close enough to those activities, which is another reason, as I think it was Joe said, I didn't want to go too much farther away from the city. So I've continued outside activities. I've thoroughly enjoyed other things here. So yes, as I say, it is up to you, but I would also advise you, please don't wait too long, because there's so many wonderful activities going on that you can take part in. And if you wait too long, then maybe you're not going to be physically able to take part in those.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
we'll ask 2 more questions and then we will turn it over to our guest today. Joe, what do you like most about your apartment? It's much smaller than where you had lived before. So can you
Well,
talk a little bit about that?
you're right. First of all, unfortunately, you can't see it, but I have a fabulous view. I look to my left and I'm in the middle of downtown Towson, but what do I see? Nothing but trees, 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 and trees for miles, because I'm overlooking the Goucher campus and all the way out to Loch Raven. And I have a very nice, look small, but I have a very nice balcony. And I enjoy very much sitting out there and watching these huge birds fly by. And I've also found out that even though I had a large condo, which is where I previously lived, I walked into my large living room and I realized I was coming in there once every 3 or 4 months to see what it looked like. I really, and I may sound like a joke, but that's absolutely the truth. I rarely used it. So I said to myself, this may be bigger, but what do I really use? My bedroom, my den, my bathroom, and my kitchen. Well, guess what I have here? A bedroom, a den, a bathroom, and a kitchen. They're a little smaller, but they're more than adequate. And being smaller, it's easier to organize. And we don't spend as much time. Nor if it wasn't for this pandemic, I never expected that. But we normally wouldn't spend that much time in our apartments anyhow. There's always something to do here. You go down to dinner, we did. And after dinner, there was always a lecture or some musical thing. And then you come up. So it's more than adequate, and I like it.
Thanks, Joe. Debbie?
Fran and Charlie, can
Yes.
you tell us about the level of communication between Edenwald leadership and residents?
Yes.
I'm glad the answer wasn't no.
And it kind of started even before we got here, because kind of as our process, once we had, the apartment became available and we said we were going to move in, one of the steps that we went through was, we actually had a sit down with Mark, and we bent his ear and he bent our ear for about an hour and a half. But that was really good, because I think, again, it just reinforced kind of that sense we had about everyone being very friendly. And, we also got to, he got to share with us his vision of, where he wants to take Edenwald to. And we continued, he holds a town hall every month, which, as far as I can tell, is unique to Edenwald, where the person who's really kind of running the place kind of gives you the State of the Union every month. So that's been very, very enlightening, and especially with what's been going on with the pandemic.
The other thing is that we know he has an open door policy, and we've just popped in and stick our head in and say, there's a little issue here, or have you ever thought about this or that? And he always listens. If we send an email, he responds very quickly. And I know that he does return folks' phone calls, although we haven't called him. We've been using email or popping in. But it's been very reassuring to know that from Mark on down through all management, they're very receptive and opening to listening and sharing and caring and communicating and getting the Eden Times and daily updates during the pandemic to know where we stand and where the community's headed and what we think is going to happen in the next days or weeks ahead. Is very reassuring.
And also, a tip of the hat to Kitty and the Residents Association leadership, because when Mark has that town hall, it's right after we have our monthly meeting of the Residents Association. And I think between the association and Kitty and the leadership team on the Residents Association and Mark, we really get a sense, detail of what's happening, both from a perspective of the folks who are, if you will, running the place and taking care of us, and also from our fellow residents.
Thank you.
Thanks for the music.
Yes,
That's our,
I'm wondering where that came from.
that's our grandfather's clock. I'm sorry. I should have.
Oh, okay. I was like, where's that coming from?
We muted
Thank
our
you.
phones, but we didn't mute our.
Forgot the grandfather clock.
Darn 'em.
It looks like we have a question from our group, and so we will move on to some question and answer, but it looks like Caitlin just sent me a question, and I can field this question. Somebody wanted to know about the medical care at Edenwald and the levels of care that are provided. So obviously, Charlie and Fran and Joe and Ann are all living in our independent living area, which is the largest part of Edenwald, but we also have assisted living. We have assisted living for those with Alzheimer's or dementia. We have comprehensive nursing care, and we also offer comprehensive nursing care for those with Alzheimer's or dementia. So when a resident comes to Edenwald, and especially important to couples, they know that whatever level of care they may need in the future, they'll have available to them on site. So thanks for the question.
And I also just want to remind everybody that if you do have any questions, if you came on a little bit late, go ahead and go to the bottom of your screen to the chat box, and you can send a question directly to me and I can send it to our panel.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay.
No questions?
I have a question. I have a question for the panel. Joe, I'll ask you this. We're hearing as we talk to prospective Edenwald residents, and I hear this kind of question.
Right.
There's a perception that our residents are locked down, that they're not allowed to leave the building.
Not very.
And yeah, so Joe, can you just field that question? Does someone, that is a question. What has it been like the past 3 months in lockdown, and have you been able to go outside for a walk or drive to the store? And I mean, I will say we've never been in lockdown, but Joe, I'll let you speak to that.
Well, you mean as far as now or prior to the lockdown?
Just while this is going on, like you can still, no one's ever said you can't leave the building, that you
No,
can't
never.
go out.
No, I go out. You do know that you have certain responsibilities when you go out. You come back in, you're going to have your temperature taken. You're going to use some, whatever that stuff is, Purell on your hands. And if you go into other places like hospitals, you're probably going to be quarantined for a period of time. But other than that, you go out. I order food from the Giant on a curbside pickup. And that's no problem. We pick it up, I pick it up, bring it back. And that's another nice thing. There are people here that will help you with everything. I pull up in the front, security will come out, take it out of my trunk, put it in a cart. And if I like, they'll take it up to my 17th floor apartment. And it's quite nice. No, I don't feel there's any real restrictions except common sense.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Joe. There's another question that I am happy to field. Someone asked how many residents were diagnosed with COVID-19, and we've been incredibly fortunate. I know there's a lot of doom and gloom in the news about nursing homes, but we're not a nursing home. We have a nursing home, but we're a lot more than that. We recently tested every resident in all of our healthcare areas. I'm bad with numbers. But around 130 residents. No one tested positive in our nursing area. No one tested positive in either of our 2 memory care areas. We did have one resident asymptomatic who tested positive in our assisted living, but they're also a person that goes out several days a week to an outside medical for outside medical procedures. So we did have an independent living resident who tested positive very early on, really when all this started. So, I mean, we feel incredibly fortunate, but we have a very, very diligent healthcare team. And Mark, they have been doing everything they possibly can to make sure that the residents here stay safe and healthy.
Yeah.
And I'll just take, I'll let Charlie and Fran, would you want to address this question?
Sure.
They're asking like how many choices were offered for dinner during the time the dining room has been closed. Would you want to just kind of address how the meal program, how that's worked?
Yeah, right now we get a packet of almost a week's worth of meal choices, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that packet's delivered to our apartment. And we circle items that we would choose. And there's many choices for each meal and each day, and a nice variety. And we circle all those choices and put the packet right outside of our apartment. It's picked up. And then our meals are delivered to us on the days that we've chosen.
Yeah, and pretty much for every meal, there's at least like 4 entree choices, and there's 4 or 5 or 6 accompaniments, and there's a soup or salad you can get. And the other nice thing I will say, again, kind of echoing back about how friendly everyone is, the folks who are bringing up our meals to our room are the same student that had students who had worked in all the dining facilities, and it's nice to have an interaction with them. They know your name,
Right.
you know their names. You can joke with them. One of the students, he would always give me a corny joke whenever he delivered a meal. We've been talking to some of them that were graduating seniors, and just how were they coping with their
Wow.
high school graduations being pretty scrambled this year. So it's been nice. And also we've had these, for Father's Day, I got a nice little gift bag with some goodies in it to munch on, and
Mother's Day.
And Mother's Day there was
Mother's Day, yeah.
We've had wine tastings where they brought around a cart to our doorway, where you could taste some of the wine. We had Cinco de Mayo where everybody, I remember Debbie in her big sombrero.
It was hiding my bad hair.
So it's been really good, and again, we have lots of choices. Certainly, it seems as many choices as we had, when we were eating in our dining rooms.
And we also had some cocktail happy hours from balcony to balcony. And we
Yes.
get on our cell phones.
I didn't know that. Where have I been?
Yeah,
All
I
right,
would tell people to take a look at the Facebook page, because you can see a lot of what we talked about, the exercise classes on the roof, sometimes we've had cocktail parties in the hallway, being socially distant, wearing our masks when we're not, downing one of our drinks or whatnot. But we've worked around.
Thank you. I'll take one last question, and then we do have a drawing for a Bluestone gift card. So we'll take one last question, and then we'll go back to Kitty for the drawing. So again, a lot of great questions. Please reach out to us. We're happy to answer some of these questions individually. I wish we had more time. We don't want to keep you on here all day, but and you came here, you're a single lady. I'm just wondering, someone asked the question, do you find that cliques form for dining and so forth?
Well, again, that's the sort of a question that, to a point, just depends on the person. I'm a friendly sort, and I'm certainly happy to invite friends. Sometimes I don't. It's very seldom that I actually eat dinner totally alone in a normal time, not now in my apartment, of course. But one of the things that I think is really, really great about Edenwald is the fact that we have what is called the hospitality table. It is open to everybody. However, it's really thought about to help people, at least for the first 5 or 6 months they're here, until they really get to know people, to either invite to eat or people invite them to eat. I have been a hostess. One of the committees I'm on 3 different committees. And one of the committees I'm on is the welcoming, it's wellness too, hopefully, welcoming committee. And by being on that committee once a month, I sit at the table as a host for the hospitality. And I love to do that. I also write articles about the new folks as they come in for our Eden Times. By the way, if you all are not on your Eden Times mailing list, please get on the mailing list for Eden Times.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. We also are happy to, if you want to give us email addresses, we can also add you to our email list, and we're sending something out pretty much on a weekly basis. So just one quick shout out from Miriam. Hi, Miriam. She wants to say hello to Joe because he conducted an excellent tour last time she visited Edenwald. So she said his story about getting sick and being alone is an issue. She's thinking about a condo, but maybe that's a bad idea. So Miriam, if you call me, I'll put you in touch with Joe, and he can tell you why a condo
Absolutely.
why this might be a better idea. So All right, Kitty, we'll turn
Absolutely.
it back over to you to draw a winner for our gift card.
We have a big box of names here.
Woo! Drum roll.
Tiny names, right, Kitty?
Tiny
Tiny.
name.
Well, they're nice big people though. Elisa Frankel.
Oh,
Is she still with the group?
I see Miss Reva Frankel. I'm not sure if Alyssa's there or not. Let's see. I'm going to open my chat up.
they might be that. They're probably
She's here.
they're probably
Here?
together.
Yes, there they all are. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's our big winner.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Congratulations.
And we give her the card after she moves in.
No.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So, Elisa, you can just get in touch with me, and then we'll make arrangements to get that gift card to you. So we want to thank you again for joining us. We want to thank our very gracious residents. I mean, our residents are the best. We're very sad right now. Like, we miss things are different. You know, we don't see everybody coming down all gussied up for
Right.
dinner every night, but we're always happy when we get to see our residents and looking forward to a return to more normal times. But we're open for limited tours and appointments, more appointments than tours. So if you'd like to schedule an appointment or have any questions, there's our contact number. And as the Wagners mentioned, there's so many things you can learn about Edenwald if you visit our website. All of the communications from our president, Mark, all of his weekly or daily, sometimes updates are on the website. You can also visit Edenwald Senior Living on YouTube or Facebook. Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Virtual hug.
Bye.
Virtual hug.